Good morning. Today we are going to look at, if I can ever get my screen over there, today we're going to look at section 5.3 in Alabama history, and this has taken place between the years of 1730 and 1840. And the essential question that we are looking for, and the EQ is up top, how did people with different cultures live together in Alabama during this time period? So from 1730 to 1840. Now, the first thing we're going to look at are our terms: freedman, plantation, and planter. All right? Freedman is a black person who was not a slave. They were emancipated. That means they were free. Plantation was just the big farm. It was a big farm. Big farm with a big house. Planters were people who owned plantations. Planters also owned slaves who farmed the large plantations. All right? So in 1817, the French settlers came to the Tombigbee River, and this is a map of Alabama, and you can see the Tombigbee River. It's highlighted in yellow, and it runs right along the western side of Alabama. And here we are over here in East Alabama. We're closest to the Tallapoosa River. The group had many problems, and they failed to grow the crops that they wanted. So they moved to the Gulf Coast, but left behind some French names such as Marengo and Bon Secours. And to the right of the map of the Tombigbee River, you see this is a big plantation. This is what a plantation house looks like. A few people called planters. So planters lived here. Plantation, planters. So planters lived there. They had large farms called plantations. Slaves were used as workers, and plantations usually grew or made everything that they needed to survive. A lot of people still grow and make everything, or grow and harvest everything that they need to survive too. That still happens today. Extra money was used to buy goods from Europe that were brought through ports at New Orleans and Mobile. Now, over here you see the inside of a plantation home. The ceilings were high because it kept them cooler in the summer, but it was hard to heat in the wintertime. Artists would come in and paint portraits of the family, and they would always have their portraits made in this room and displayed in this room. The kitchen was not a part of the main home. It was a separate building, and they put it as a separate building to protect the main house from accidental fires. Okay, down here you're seeing some planter families. This is how they traveled. They traveled by horse and carriage, okay? You can see some plantations in the background. Families visited other planter families traveling by horse and carriage. Men might travel to nearby towns for supplies and news. Women sewed and they embroidered things while they talked to each other. Sometimes they played music. Outdoor parties, fox hunts, weddings, and church services filled the social lives of planters' families. This next part right here, this is what I've been looking to sharing with you guys. Okay, now, planters sometimes would hire teachers for their sons and to teach them Latin, English, history, literature, and math. Some attended the East Coast of University, and some attended the University of Alabama. But for those who went to school close to home, close to their plantation, close to their home, they went to school in one room. They called them a schoolhouse. They went to school in one room school, and this is kind of what one looked like. Okay, and then if you misbehaved in this schoolhouse, corporal punishment was different back then. Look at this. Can you see what she's got in her hand right there? She's got a big stick, and she is about to tear him up. Anyway, this is what corporal punishment looked like back in the 1800s. And then down here, this little fella, he's sitting down here, and he's got the dunce hat on. And it says, "I will be good." This also happened. You had to put the dunce hat on and sit in front of the class and write sentences if you didn't have your studies ready, if you didn't know your assignments. Over here, this is another form that they used to do. You would have to hold the palm of your hand out, and your teacher, they would take a ruler or something small like a ruler and slap it across your hand. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like fun to me. All right, and then, as I mentioned earlier, some of the young adults, went to the University of Alabama, and this is what the University of Alabama looked like in the 1800s. I hope you're excited about learning about the different cultures in Alabama. See you next time for 5.4.